I've been an interior designer for a long time. And for most of that time, I designed beautiful rooms. Rooms that photographed well, rooms that got featured, but something was always missing. The rooms looked right, but I kept asking myself, do they feel right? Not just aesthetically, not just visually. In the body, that specific feeling, I became obsessed with. I remember the first time I walked into a room and understood physically in my nervous system that something was profoundly different about it. It was not grand, it was not decorated in any way I could immediately articulate, but the moment I walked in, I felt my shoulders drop. Something in me had been braced and released. I spent the next several years trying to figure out what that room knew that I didn't. What was it made of? What was the light doing? How are the materials chosen? How is the space proportioned? And then slowly over time, I started to find the answers. Not in the design books, in neuroscience. In a design science called biogeometry that has been quietly informing sacred spaces for thousands of years. Rooms that make us feel that way, the rooms that hold us, that make us feel genuinely at home, are not accidents. They're not just the result of taste or talent. They're the result of design decisions that work with the nervous system. I built a framework, and I call it the sensory living method. It's not an aesthetic. It's not a style. It's not something that only works in certain kinds of homes for a certain kind of person. It's a practice grounded in science, and it can transform any space, regardless of budget, architecture, or location, into a space that actively supports the people inside it. The method is organized around 4 pillars. Each one corresponds to a specific sense, and more importantly, to a specific biological function. Ground, light, texture, rhythm. I want to walk you through each one. Ground is about material weight. It's the quality of a room that tells your nervous system the foundation is solid. This pillar is informed by a design science called biogeometry, developed by Dr. Ibram Karim, who trained at ETH Zurich and has spent 40 years studying how geometric form and the energetic quality of materials interact with living systems. Natural materials carry a frequency that the body recognizes. Stone, aged wood, raw plaster, wool, linen. These materials resonate with something in us that synthetic materials simply do not. When I walk into a room built on synthetics, plastic-coated surfaces, mass-produced laminates, engineered composites, something in me stays braced. I can't fully relax. The body knows the difference, even when the eye doesn't. Ground is the pillar that gives a room its honesty. Without it, everything else is decoration. Most lighting decisions are made aesthetically. Does it look good? Is it bright enough? Is it dramatic? But light is not an aesthetic decision. Light is a hormonal decision. Every time you specify a light source, you're making a decision about melatonin production, about cortisol levels. The body has a 24-hour internal clock, the circadian rhythm. It's governed almost entirely by light. Warm amber light from 6 in the evening onward is not just a mood, it's a biological necessity. And I specify it in every single project without exception. Texture is the most intimate pillar. It's the only pillar that requires physical contact to be fully known. It is in many ways the most powerful tool a designer has for regulating the nervous system. When we touch a material, when our hand moves across the velvet, our fingers trace the weave of a boucle. Our skin sends signals directly to the parasympathetic nervous system, the branch of the nervous system responsible for rest, recovery, and the sense that everything is okay. There is natural science behind why certain textures calm us. Mechanoreceptors in the skin's response to deep, even pressure. It is not a coincidence that the things that we do when we're stressed is reach for something soft, a blanket, a pillow. This is why I say the pillow collection is not a product. It is the method made tangible. Every piece is designed first for how it feels and then for how it looks. The 4th pillar is the one that designers talk about the least, but it may be the one that matters the most. Rhythm is about the spatial compensation, how the eye moves through a room, where it lands, where it rests, where it gently asks to keep going. There's a branch of neuroscience called neuroaesthetics that studies how the brain responds to visual composition. And what the research consistently shows is this: the brain's reward system activates in response to what researchers call organized complexity. Not sameness, not chaos, something in between. A room that has enough variation to be interesting, but not resolution to be restful. In Japanese philosophy, there's a concept called ma, the meaningful pause, the considered interval, negative space that is not empty, but full of intention. A room designed with ma asks the eye to slow down, and when the eye slows down, the nervous system follows. What I'm describing is not a philosophy. It's not a feeling. It's not an interior design mechanism. It's biology. Polyvagal theory, developed by neuroscientist Dr. Stephen Porges in 1994. It describes how our autonomic nervous system continuously scans our environment for causes of safety or threat. This happens below conscious level. Before you've formed a single opinion about a room, before you've even looked around, your body has already read it. It's already deciding whether to relax or stay guarded. The warmth of the materials, the quality of light, the acoustic conditions directly influence whether the nervous system engages its rest or digest state, or stays in a low-level vigilance. A well-designed room, one built on the 4 pillars, moves people into what polyvagal theory calls ventral vagal state. Safety, presence, the ability to actually be somewhere. Circadian rhythm science, we know now from research published in journals like Nature Buildings, that interior design decisions directly determines the quality of light a person receives throughout the day. These are not aesthetic decisions. They're questions that determine whether you sleep well, whether your immune system functions properly, whether you feel depressed in the winter or alert in the morning in beautiful, well-composed spaces. The brain releases dopamine, serotonin. The orbital frontal cortex, the brain's pleasure center, activates. Beauty is not frivolous, it is functional. And in the particular beauty of a room built on natural materials, warm light, considered textures, and intelligent negative space, that beauty is medicine. When I finally built a space, a home, around these principles, something shifted. Not dramatically, not overnight, but slowly, consistently. I slept better, I thought more clearly, I felt genuinely that I was somewhere safe. And I realized that this quality of feeling genuinely at home is not a luxury. It's what every home should do, and it should be achievable by anyone in any space at any scale. This channel exists because I believe that the way most people are designing their homes is missing something essential. We're designing for the photograph, for the moment of the reveal, for the before and after, but they're not the same thing as a home that works. Every video I make is going to be grounded in this. What does the science say? What does the philosophy say? And what does it actually look and feel like in real space? The sensory living method works in any aesthetic, any architecture, any life. If you're here, I think you already know what I'm talking about. You've been in a room that stopped you, that made you want to stay. What the sensory living method gives you is this language, the science behind what your body already understands. Your home should feel like exhaling. It should be the one place in the world that knows exactly how to hold you. And I'm going to show you how to build it. Subscribe if this is the conversation you've been looking for. Videos every week. And if you have a room that isn't working, a space that feels off, but you can't articulate why, drop in the comments. That's exactly the kind of question I want to answer. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.